Boat's back. I'm gonna drag him up.
It
Hello,
does.
the big red boat is here. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm good.
Hey, you must be feeling pretty good.
I don't know. I didn't bring my. No, actually, no. I'm not feeling good at all. I'm gonna be honest
Oh,
with you.
okay.
I'm not. Okay.
All
You wanna
right.
know why?
What?
So
I forgot to bring my
it
super carrier. My
Hey.
Titan has just been sitting here staring at nothing.
Boat. Side note: do you have another character? I can give you one.
No, I am busy getting ready to drink some celebratory moonshine.
All right, we have the big red boat from the Imperium FC, storied FC. Been around for a long time. Brought the wrong ship. Actually, brought the right ship. It just never got to use its doomsday.
Yeah. I do want to add something kind of hilarious. So I don't know if your viewers know this or not, but a long time ago, there was a guy in this game named Seamus or Zaz, right?
Leader of Pandemic Legion.
Yep. And Mr. V and I convinced Seamus or Zaz to jump in a whole ton of dreads into and Titans and Supers and all this other stuff into Fountain into a system called White Ash 2 with hostiles already loading grid, and it didn't go well. PL never loaded. They black screen. Everything died.
DBRB, do you know that was exactly 11 years ago to the day?
It was.
It was 11 years ago to the day.
Yeah, and what's really funny is like Seamus, he blamed me and V for that, even though it was like his call at the end of the day. And that's when PL like said, "Fuck it, we're pulling out of Fountain," and then we stopped being friends with PL ever since. And it's like kind of hilarious that 11 years later, they still haven't learned. What's interesting too is right before like every major Titan fight, something like this has happened. So I don't know if you guys talked about this already, but before B-R in Head GP, we lost like 500 dreads because we tried to jump them in and they black screened.
Yeah, we talked about Head GP and how it was kind of the same situation, but with dreadnoughts.
Yep. But this is pretty funny. Like, as a Christmas gift, one of my coaches I work with got me some Tennessee moonshine. And I was gonna drink it if we lost the Keepstar. Now I'm deciding if I want to drink it in celebration. Can't make up my mind. It smells delicious. It smells like apple, like apples. Like the green apples you could pick off a tree.
All right. Well,
I gotta ask you one question, Bo. One question. We had you on here, I think, 2 months ago. And you very defiantly said Keepstars suck. They're strategically useless.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain something.
Do you still feel that way in light of this? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Let me
explain why. So, the last 4 Keepstar involved mega fights, the Keepstar was a detriment until 2 days ago. And for some reason, CCP's game code actually worked so well 2 days ago that it was surprising. Like, for example, I got primaried, right? About 2 a.m. I was desynced. I engaged warp out at like 90% shields. I finally did warp out at 50% shields. And my Leviathan got down to like, I think 30% shields by the time the desync cleared. And then I landed on tether. And it was like, after I DD'd, there was like 3 minutes left on my DD timer. And in X47 or in B-R, that would have never happened. For example, B-Tech-R, it took an hour and 15 minutes for DDs to cycle. X47, it took an hour and 10. In that fight, it was taking 40 minutes. So, CCP has actually come pretty far in its regards to that stuff.
And I think that's pretty much what led to like this fight right here, right? Obviously, the same timer, the same thing, but the server felt so good that it was almost, I don't want to say unfathomable, right? But the notion that jumping in and black screening, something that happened 11 years ago, would happen again, it didn't seem like a possibility going into this fight.
Here's the thing, right? So the long time. I mean, okay, at this point the fight's over, right? Like Horde, I think, told all their Titan Supers to log off and hope they disappear before they die. They're desperately trying to fleet warp. We're throwing thousands of dictors at them. All their subcaps are all but dying pretty rapidly. Fighter bombers aren't dying fast enough. So every Titan on grid will probably die, right? So I will say this. So a few years back now.
Wait, before you go on, do we have an estimate on how many Titans that is?
60 have died. 210 jumped through.
Okay.
And the last count. So
Of that 60, there is currently only 22 Rex generated.
yeah, so 58 have appeared on Z-Kill, and there were 210 that jumped in that loaded, if you take away artifacts from deaths. But anyway, so a few years back, there was a Keepstar fight, final timer in low sec somewhere, and I don't remember where. I don't remember where, but the server capped out at 5K. Like anything over 5K, you couldn't get in. The game wouldn't allow it, and when you tried to go through the gate, it just wouldn't let you through, right? And the entire time before they all jumped in, the game, like the system was hovering at 5K. So I don't know. I just feel like you just don't. I don't understand. See, someone I don't understand, and I might be dumb for me to say this, but Billy could have very easily, right? Downtime this morning, got with FRT, got with all the downtime dudes, and got everything online, ready to go at downtime, and had the system full of 6,000 dudes, and just waited for the timer to happen, and been in the system first. But Billy literally told his guys, the timer's not for 3 hours. We're not going for another 2. Just relax. Like, what?
But then you don't get the fight, right? So that's for me. It seems like both sides really wanted the fight.
No, I mean, the fight was still going to happen, right?
I mean, you wouldn't have been able to log in.
No, but what I was saying is, if they would have done that thing at downtime, right? They would have logged in all their Titans and Supers at the bottom, right, down there at the bottom, and we would have dropped on that, right, like we had planned. So the fight would have still happened, but at least it would have been like a situation where half and half may have loaded, because there's 11,000 pilots waiting to come in here, right? Like, here's another thing too. There's still 200 like Imperium Titans sitting in 1 queue on the like waiting to jump in that we never jumped in.
What were those meant to do? Were they reserves of some sort?
I have no idea.
Were they just late?
No, I don't know if they were like a specific group or who or what. I have no idea.
I know the spare Titan when I died.
I do know this though. The last fight a couple nights ago, when I made it out safe, I landed on tether. I repaired in like not even like a minute real time, and then siloed out, right? And I warped to like a random citadel.
By the way, are those Init Titans that might be out there? Because I've seen people saying those are Init.
I'm asking right now.
Okay.
So yeah. I guess I could tell you. Anit just told me that was their 200-man Titan fleet.
Mm-hmm.
They were potentially going to sign on at the top, from what I heard. But because the test group never loaded, there was no point in bringing them in because the server may crash. And at this point, you don't want it to crash. Like, we were telling bombers not to use bombs. Like, the only AoE things I think that happened were a couple of ECM bursts that kind of aggro all the Titans when Horde like ordered the mass log off, right? Is to make sure, because with the tie-dye so bad, there's no other way to like mass aggro everything. So
yeah, at this point, and it's a matter of composure, right? Like I've seen, so at the time the largest Titan fight ever, Supercat fight ever, was in Y-W 10 years ago, almost to the day. And a lot of caps were dead to rights. What ended up happening is the group that was attacking the old Northern Coalition, not NCDOT, but the old people that lived in the north, they brought in too many people, overloaded the server crashed before they could kill everything.
Yeah.
So you're seeing, with the benefit of understanding how the game works, the benefit of time, you don't want, if you're Imperium right now, you don't want to crash the server. It's in a shitty, unstable spot for your enemies, and you want to prolong that. So you're not bringing other things in.
Another like item of note too is, speaking of old NC, there was a Super Cat brawl once, Russians versus Northern Coalition where the grid didn't load. Like within 45 kilometers of one of the NC Titans was the RA like Titan fleet, but on a different grid. And that one had like 2,000 people in local. And the 3 Titans that died from NC appeared the next morning in safe spots unpiloted after downtime.
Yeah, that's something we were chatting about earlier.
They had siloed out, but they never loaded home. Then they died like 3 or 4 hours later, and then the following day they were in safes. 3 NC ones got recovered, and there were 2 Russian ones that got recovered by the Russians. And it's funny because that's the game is so unpredictable that I just don't like. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. It was Villy and ProGod running the show today, and at the end of the day, I just don't understand their thinking. Like, there's no way to explain this other than they counted on CCP to not be CCP.
But it's in the same way that you guys counted on CCP to not be CCP in other fights before, right?
Right. Oh yeah, there's risks, but there's risks, and there's risking 500 Titans, because when you have 800 Titans on one side, 800 Titans on the other side, and you potentially could lose 200 right now, that's pretty massive in terms of the war. Like you would have asked me a week ago, like if we were losing, I would have said hell yeah, like we're getting fucking stomped. You asked me after this fight, no, it's pretty fucking even right now, if not worse.
You thought you were losing up to 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
The Matani said the path to victory was clear and you guys were winning.
I don't care about Vince. I'm a realist.
Oh, jeez. But you're winning now, though, right? Now you've got.
You realize for me, 2 weeks ago, wrestling season started, and I coach. So I've been like mega busy, especially with like COVID and everything. Like, other than that Titan fight 2 days ago, I hadn't played Eve in 2 weeks.
Fair. Like, Bo will come in and ask a question, has no idea what's going on, and then talk about another video game and be like, "What's going on, guys?" And we have to explain it.
3 of us that talk about BDO and like us channel all day.
Hey, thanks for the raid, 300 plus. Thank you.
But yeah, so the interesting thing too is like, as far as I'm aware, the Titans that have loaded like in system in M2 are dying in M2. Right, so the ones that are like you see them in local and they've left T5ZI local, they're dying for sure, like gone, boom. The ones that are not in local are like respawning back in T5 and then docking. But even if they manage to dock, they're getting ejected from the ship and the ship's disappearing, like it's still dead. So you're seeing like all like just craziness right now.
Yeah,
so I will say the last part's not happening. But
I've not had any.
So a friend of mine in Horde, that's a Titan pilot. He was in his ship, right? He was in his ship, and then a few minutes later, boom, ship's gone. And then not even like a few minutes later after that, Horde broadcasted, trade your ship if you respawn back in T5 to your alt so it doesn't disappear.
Hold on, Boat. Go ahead, Sully.
Oh. Yeah, I've not heard any of that. But ships disappearing once they're docked. I've heard before of them being stripped of all modules, but I've not heard of them actually just disappearing from this the pilot's inventory.
Yeah.
I don't know. Toma Zenail just subscribed. I don't know if you guys wanted to give him a shout out.
I really don't know. Like, at the end of the day, you got to wonder where FRT's head is on this, because FRT never came in, right? So they moved everyone down that they could get to want to move down. I mean, Pro God Legends lost 3 Titans in 3 days.
Watch out, Hippo. He's coming after your title. Hippojacks.
Oh.
It's a tease that we have.
I'm definitely going to drink this moonshine. Sorry.
You have at this point. This is the...
Oh, that's so good.
He's coming after my record here.
Oh, so good. Yeah, but I'm not going to get any 8 kill modes today. Not one.
Oh, well.
Very sad.
I just feel like even as far as big fights go, this is further evidence that it's going to sound weird when it comes out. These are not meaningful fights. yet. You said we were losing the war 2 weeks ago. Today it's even.
In my opinion.
In your opinion,
Yeah.
that now it's even.
But here's an interesting thing too,
Water
right?
like this makes it even is very, very.
Well, because you got to realize everything about this war, the reason that this war has went the way it's gone in the last 3 months is them using their Titans and Supers. If you notice, Goons haven't used them in 3 months, like a meaningful, like fights and like things over timers. I think we had one in 1DQ where we used them, but even then it was like, do we use them? Do we not use them? And that was like a month ago. But like, there's a lot of like, this is the first time you've seen both sides throw Titans at each other this week in the whole war, right? And this is something they've wanted to happen. And when I say they had tested them for a long time because they thought they had the majority. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I went to practice today. We had a Saturday practice because we get to have our first match next week. And I knew I wasn't getting home till like 3:30, after the gym. And so I get home and there's 6,000 Imperium dudes online between two systems. And it was just like utter flabbergasting. Like, I could not believe there were that many Imperium people. I mean, I guess it was possible, but
Yeah, the surge that you guys had after the first M2 fight,
Yeah.
it was astounding, right?
And the thing here that's another thing that's really interesting too is so we're killing Titans so fast because they're not getting any mods on. In some cases, the mods are offline completely. Well, one screenshot showed a Titan posted where his mods were turned off, and that's something that's happened in big Titan fights before. But anyway, so you have a situation where they're not having mods. So if you were to take the real time of how fast we were killing Titans, we killed 4 Titans within like real time, 5 minutes of calling them primary. Okay. But in game time, it would have been seconds, like 5 or 6 seconds per Titan kill. They were basically getting alpha right now. And even like a small group like Ranger Regiment, who are up at like, 8 a.m. or whatever, they were in their own little group picking a Titan and just soloing it with their group of super carriers. Like they have like 30 here or something like that. So it's just insane just how fast things are dying.
All right. Thanks, Boat. We're going to have Villy in here. He's at the center of a lot of the stuff that's been going on over the last 6
I'm going to go drink
months.
moonshine and say hi to my fiance. Bye.
Yeah. All right, man. Take care.